Are you looking to host a webinar? Then this video is for you. Welcome to DaySchedule, an appointment scheduling software. In this video tutorial, I'll be guiding you through how you can create and host a webinar through DaySchedule. To host a webinar, you need to log into DaySchedule account. Once you have logged in, you will be landing to the resources page. Over there, you have to select webinars and then click on the add button on the right side. Click on new webinar. Now on the screen, you need to give details for the webinar. First is webinar name. Then you can choose to provide more information about the webinar using the description box. In the next field, you have to select a host for the webinar. It can be you or any other team member. In the next field, you have to select co-host. Let's say there are two members who are hosting this webinar, then select the other from the list. And in the location field, you can choose where you will be hosting this webinar. It can be Google Meet, Zoom, Microsoft Teams, or GoToMeetings. I'm selecting Google Meet here. Next, you can provide the maximum spots for this webinar. I'm writing 20 here. I want 20 spots for this webinar. And in the next field, you can choose a banner for your webinar. DaySchedule has provided 3 designs for the banner. You can even choose a color for the banner. Or you can upload your own image from the PC. Click on open. So this will be your banner for the webinar. Now click on next to provide more information about the webinar. On this screen, you will be giving information about the duration or date range, when you will be hosting this webinar, etc. So first you can select the duration. I want it to be 45 minutes, so I have selected 45 here. You can even give a custom duration here. In the next field, you have to provide the specific date and time. DaySchedule provides 2 options to choose the date and time. In the first option, you can select like on every weekday you want to host this webinar. Let's say you want to host the webinar on Thursday, then select Thursday here, and then you have to give the time. So this webinar will be hosted every Thursday at 10 in the morning. Likewise, you can add more weekdays or weekends for the webinar. For the other option, you can choose on, and you have to provide a specific date when you want this webinar to host. Let's say I want it on 20th, then I'll be selecting 20th here. Then I have to select the time. So this is how I can select a particular date, and I can even add more date or days for my webinar. On this third screen, you can give more specific information about your webinar. First is the invitee questions. In this section, you can collect more information about your invitee before they book a webinar with you. Let's say you want to know whether your invitee have ever attended a webinar. Then you can write this question here and click on the add button. It will be shown on your main scheduling page. And your invitee need to fill the detail before they book a slot with you. Let's write a question. Now select the answer type, which can be date, text, number, multi-line text, checkbox, etc. I'm selecting checkbox here. Now give the options for the checkbox. You can even select whether this field is mandatory or not by using this checkbox. Now click on the add button. This will be added on your scheduling page. So this is how it will look like. In the next section, you can use the redirect and confirmation page. The default option is provided by DaySchedule. You can select the other option. Let's say you want to redirect your scheduling link to other external website, then you can use this link. or the link. Next option is payment. You can collect the payment for this webinar by using the payment gateways provided here, which is Razorpay, Stripe, or PayPal. You can either select one or multiple options, then provide the pricing information by clicking on Add Price. You can give a name for this payment. Then select a currency from the list and a number. This is how you can add pricing details for your webinar. In the next field, you can either allow your guest to attend this webinar by using this checkbox. You can specify the maximum number of guests allowed here. You can even add the policies for your webinar. Let's say you want to add a cancellation policy, then click on this drop down, click on cancellation policy. So you can add this policy that cancellation request must be made within 24 hours. So you can even add multiple policies by clicking on this drop down. In case you want to add refund policy or reschedule, then you can do so. DaySchedule provide more additional settings for the webinar. You can even select the date format or time format for this webinar. So this is how you can create a webinar. Now click on the finish button to create this webinar. So you have successfully created a webinar. This is the link which you can copy and send it to all your invitees, or you can send it through email, WhatsApp, and embed it to some other website or web page. And you can even use this QR code to book a slot with you. Let's see how the scheduling page will look like by clicking on this icon. Now we are redirected to the webinar scheduling page. All your invitees will use this page to book a slot with you. They need to fill these details to get a slot. So this is how you can create your webinar and host it. Thank you for your time. Please subscribe to our channel to learn more about product features and upcoming updates.